After getting drunk, I actually grabbed my longtime crush, the icy cool desk mate, at our graduation dinner and kissed him. I figured I'd never have the face to see him again in this lifetime, only for him to parachute in as my new boss 6 years later. He once said in public he'd been tricked, in love, at a party, then looked straight at me and added, with meaning, and I was happy to be. Even when I fat-fingered a flirty text to the wrong chat, he shot back. Tomorrow work? But when a stunning foreign exec suddenly showed up, I realized the woman he'd been waiting on all these years, his unreachable first love, was me. Right then, he cornered me in the supply closet and murmured his complaint. "You kissed me and ran, planning to ghost me again this time?" At the company outing, someone gossiped about why the boss never joins group hangs. He said, "Got burned before." A coworker pressed. "Burned how?" He cast me a calm glance. "In love." The company brought in a new boss word from HQ. He's a notorious hard-ass. A face so unfair it should be illegal, and a work style that makes people groan. The second I saw him, I froze. Not because he's hot, or because he's scary. Because he was my high school desk mate and my secret crush. We hadn't seen each other since the graduation dinner. As for what happened that night, I can't even think about it. Jason hates fussy formalities, so he slashed most of the welcome ceremony fluff and kept just the speech. He stood in the middle, tall and impossible to miss. I stood in the back, listening to the excited chatter around me. "The new boss is so handsome. I heard tons of women at HQ had a crush on him." Pfft, not just women, rival companies' lady bosses, too. "Then did he ever, seduce someone for the company?" "Nope, he's never even dated. They say he's so cold to women it could freeze you solid." What a waste of a face like that. If he wanted to date, he'd have no shortage of options. Who knows? I lowered my eyes and listened. Same as before. It was like dating never existed in Jason's world. The welcome wrapped up quickly. The manager led him off to see his new office. He cut through the crowd on those long legs, face unreadable. I dropped my gaze. Would he notice me? Or had he already forgotten a nobody like me? Footsteps and applause stopped right in front of me. I looked up on reflex and found Jason standing there. The corner of his mouth tipped up. "Long time no see," he said to me. I was slow on the uptake and managed only a stiff smile. He smiled back, then slipped into his usual cool and moved on. That brief second, though, sent shockwaves through me. He remembered me? Once Jason was gone, the office exploded. A few nosy coworkers surrounded me. "No way, Belle, you know Mr. Jason?" I thought it over and said, a little embarrassed, "We were classmates, but we weren't close. One colleague didn't buy it. Can't be that simple." I escorted Mr. Jason up, and he didn't spare me a glance. "But he spoke to you first." Others chimed in. "Exactly. He was all business during the speech, but he changed when he got to you." I laughed weakly, unsure what to say. I was telling the truth. Jason and I weren't close at all. I did crush on him back then, but the only thing he cared about was studying. Carlos saw I was in a bind and stepped in. Maybe Mr. Jason just values old classmates. I bobbed my head fast. With the gossip fizzling, they let it go. As the crowd thinned, I turned to head back to my desk only for the manager, fresh from showing Jason around, to double back for me. "Belle, I hear you and Mr. Jason were classmates?" I nodded. He clapped his hands. "Perfect! We're trying to get Mr. Jason out for a team dinner this week. You invite him." I hadn't even refused before he patted my shoulder and left me with, "Failure is not an option." I agonized all afternoon. The manager clearly expected me to ask. But marching into Jason's office to say, it felt way too weird. After mulling it over, I decided to message him on WeChat after work. That night, I dug up that familiar account and, nerves jangling, opened the chat. He still had that landscape photo he'd used for 7 years. I typed fast. "You there?" Hit send, then panicked and closed the window. My heart pounded. It was the first time I'd texted him since graduation. Before I could calm down, property management pinged. All residents had to register for the new security system before 9. I hurried downstairs to queue, submit info, and scan my face. By the time the errands were done, over an hour had passed. Cautiously, I opened WeChat again and saw Jason had replied instantly with a jolt ran through me. I was about to type more when I realized I hadn't sent. "You there?" I'd sent. "Wanna do it?" My whole body locked up. What kind of filthy text was that? I'm doomed. He's going to think I'm a creep. I hammered the recall button, but the time limit had passed. And considering what I'd done to him 6 years ago, also creepy, my reputation was cooked anyway. To save a shred of dignity, I started typing to explain it was a typo. I was halfway through when his new message popped up. I stared. He asked, "Tomorrow work?" My mind went blank. What was he talking about? Tomorrow what? Did he think I meant that? It took me 2 minutes to reboot. Then I typed woodenly, "I'm sorry, Mr. Jason, that was a typo. I meant to say, 'You there?'" He went quiet for a moment, then sent 6 dots. "Here." The whole exchange was under 20 words, yet the awkwardness filled the screen. Pushing on for the manager's sake, I typed, "We're having a team dinner this weekend. May I invite you to join us?" He replied fast, "I usually don't do those." My head dropped on its own. Figures. He doesn't change for anything. Why did the manager make me take this hit I hadn't sent? "Sorry to bother you yet," when another bubble popped up. "But if it's you inviting me, I'd be happy to." I didn't understand why Jason said that either. But since I pulled it off, the manager showered me with praise. "Nice work, Belle. You actually got Mr. Jason, the living Buddha himself, to show up. Weren't you the one who said failure wasn't an option?" The dinner was set at a hotel. Jason arrived right on time. Because of that cursed typo, though, I felt guilty the second I saw him. He came toward me. I executed an emergency turn and pretended to be rushing to the restroom. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him stop where he was. He tilted his head slightly, looking over in my direction. I hurried my pace and ran. When I finally slunk back, everyone was already seated. The seats around Jason were packed. There was no way to squeeze in. Relieved, I hid in a corner and listened to them butter him up. "Mr. Jason, when you went head-to-head with a rival in that bid," Jason lifted his head slightly, then raised a hand to cut him off. "It's our downtime. No business talk." The manager bobbed his head. "Ah, right. We're here to relax. No work talk. Then how about something personal?" I swear, I saw a question mark appear in Jason's eyes. The supervisor, who'd been rambling non-stop, went dead silent. The manager, oblivious, kept going. "I heard Mr. Jason has quite a few hobbies in private." I tensed and took a quick sip of my drink. Jason pressed his lips together, then slowly shook his head. "No, my hobby's simple. Only one." When he said that, his eyes flickered over to me for just a second. The manager looked ready to dig deeper, but the waiter arrived with the food. Carlos called everyone to start eating. Even during dinner, the manager refused to give up, still trying to pry into Jason's personal life. I didn't dare meet his gaze the entire time. Until someone asked, "Mr. Jason, you never seem to like these company dinners. Is there some personal reason?" Just then, I happened to stand up to refill my drink. Jason looked at me, unhurried. "Yeah, I got tricked once at a dinner." The manager leaned in, curious. "Tricked how?" His eyes locked fully on me as he said, "Emotionally." The whole table's jaws dropped. I wanted to crawl under it and disappear. Jason, unfazed, looked perfectly calm, even took a sip of wine. "But it's fine." I was happy to be. After that dinner, the rumor mill exploded. "Did you hear? Mister, Jason once got seduced at a party and dumped right after. Since then, heart of stone, love is dead. Did you hear? Mr. Jason was dumped so hard he swore off women forever." For real, that's wild. Tons of co-workers came to me, trying to coax out details. "Belle, you know Mr. Jason, right? You must know the inside story." I swear I saw him giving you that. Don't you dare say anything, look all night. Come on, tell me. I promise I won't snitch. That wasn't a threat in his eyes, it was blame. The truth was, I did get a little too drunk at our graduation dinner, egged on by my best friend and the alcohol. I chased after Jason. I can't even remember if I confessed. What I do remember is kissing him. Classmates said we came out of the bathroom together, and Jason's face was as red as a monkey's ass. He refused to say a word when anyone asked. Guess the poor guy was traumatized for life. I never dared face him again. Jason probably had plenty of girls confess to him over the years. I thought that embarrassing episode would have faded with time. But no, he remembered it vividly. Humiliating. While everyone was still pestering me for gossip, Jason somehow strolled right over. The crowd scattered like birds, leaving me standing there awkwardly fiddling with my fingers. He stopped beside me, lowered his head slightly, and spoke in a quiet voice. You left too early that night. I didn't get the chance to explain the text thing. I'm not a creep, you don't have to be afraid of me. The mention of that typo made me flinch. I waved my hands fast. No, no! I'm the creep. You. Mid-sentence. I slapped my hand over my mouth. What was I even saying? The corner of his eyes curved with amusement. As long as you don't mind. I'm new here, and you're the only one I really know. Could you maybe show me around? His gaze was sincere, almost too earnest. I wanted to refuse, but couldn't find a polite excuse, so I nodded. Sure, a coworker passing by whispered. Wait, didn't the manager already give Mr. Jason a full tour? Yeah, lasted like 2 hours. Jason shot them a glare. Hallucination, maybe. Our company's actually pretty big, conference rooms upstairs, cafeteria downstairs. I dutifully walked him around, introducing everything. The cafeteria's decent and cheap. The lady who serves lunch has a steady hand. I usually eat here. He nodded. I'll try it next time. I was about to say something else, when he suddenly spoke again. Still, out of all the cafeterias I've tried, high school's was the best. I froze for a beat. Back in high school, I always sat not too close, not too far from him, stealing glances while he ate. He ate with quiet grace. I'd wait till he finished, then hurry to pack my tray, just so I could walk the same path as him. Snapping out of my memories, I mumbled, yeah, I liked it too. He tilted his head. Then why never go back? I lowered my eyes. Didn't do well on the exams. I'd flunked my college entrance test so badly I couldn't face anyone at school again. After graduation, I cut myself off completely from that part of life. Jason let out a soft, and class reunions? You never show. I twisted my fingers, silent. The answer was clear but hard to admit because I didn't want him to see me as a joke. He didn't press. His voice was calm but firm. No matter what you've been through, there's always someone who still cares. You can look back, you know. My heart gave a sudden jolt, like a tight string snapping. Those few words stuck with me all evening. Even after work, I couldn't settle down. Finally, I asked my best friend Julia out for drinks. She rushed in, clutching her purse, only to find me at the bar already halfway through a glass. Girl, with your weak tolerance, are you trying to die? What happened? Heartbreak? Sniffling, I set down the glass. Julia, Jason's working at our company now. Her eyes widened. Jason? I thought he was some exec at a big firm in the capital. That's the HQ, I said. We're the branch. Julia blinked. So what? You said you were over him ages ago. I covered my face in shame. Turns out maybe I'm not. She caught on, eyes wide. Unbelievable! You lied to me! Didn't you say right after graduation you didn't even find him handsome anymore? So that was all crap? I huffed. How can anyone get over someone like him that easily? Julia frowned, looking utterly exasperated. After a long sigh, she gripped my shoulders. Belle, it's been years. I really thought you were over him. There's something I never told you. I blinked, not understanding what she meant. She hesitated, then bit her lip and said, like making a big decision, Jason's had someone he likes all this time. Her words hit me like a thunderclap, snapping me sober. Julia sighed. You always skipped reunions. But once when Jason got drunk, he let it slip. Lots of people heard. He was clinging to someone, crying, saying he'd wait for her, even if it took years. Julia added, sounded like she's foreign. My first reaction was disbelief. I couldn't imagine the cool, untouchable Jason having a side like that, or being in love already. But just a week later, I actually saw her. I clocked in like usual and saw a crowd gathered at the reception area. Curious, I walked over. What's going on? Anna spotted me, and her eyes lit up. Belle, you're here! She grabbed me and pulled me to the front. Come look, see if that woman's the one who broke Mr. Jason's heart. I followed her pointing finger and peeked through the door. Only 2 people were inside Jason, and a tall, blonde, blue-eyed beauty. They sat side by side, chatting happily. Jason even looked relaxed, rare for him. In an instant, I remembered Julia's story about the foreign woman. I couldn't help staring. Jason said something that made the woman laugh out loud, right into my chest. She was so gorgeous that even I would fall for her, let alone Jason. Anna whispered urgently, Is it her? I pulled back from the crowd, dazed. Probably, I'm not sure. The co-workers started whispering excitedly. Told you! Mister. Jason personally came down to greet her and dismissed everyone else. You can tell she's special. She's mixed, I think. Totally matches Mr. Jason. I turned away, not wanting to hear another word. So this was how he acted around someone who mattered. I drifted back to my desk, hollow. Over an hour later, the onlookers finally cleared out. Jason walked out with the woman, chatting easily, their eyes flicking my way more than once. I ducked my head, pretending to type. After he saw her out, he stopped by my desk. I looked up, puzzled. He sounded a little awkward. Hey, you free at noon? Wanna grab lunch? Normally I'd be thrilled, but after learning the truth, it felt different. Spending more time with him would only make it harder to move on. So I grabbed Carlos beside me. Oh, what a coincidence, Mr. Jason. Carlos and I already have lunch plans. Carlos blinked, confused. Jason frowned at him. Carlos opened his mouth, probably to deny it, but one pleading look from me shut him up. Oh, right, yeah, we do. Jason's lips pressed into a thin line, a flicker of something dark passing under his gaze. After a pause, he murmured, Got it. Then, hands in his pockets, he turned to Carlos. Carlos, I've got 2 reports that need redoing. You handle them and get them to me before lunch. And he walked off. He seemed not pleased. Poor Carlos just stood there, dumbfounded. That noon, he didn't even make it to the cafeteria, too busy redoing those forms. And of course, didn't get lunch with me either. Barely 2 days later, I saw that woman again. This time she wasn't alone. She'd brought a whole team, representing HQ for an inspection. That's when I learned she was an executive too. Kristen. She and Jason looked perfect together. The inspection team glanced at us with eyes full of sympathy. One of the guys from HQ quickly warmed up to everyone and asked in a low voice, notebook in hand, So, how's it feel having Mr. Jason as your boss? A real thrill, huh? A co-worker scratched his head. Not really. You guys kept saying he's terrifying, but honestly, he's been pretty nice to us. The guy looked incredulous. Nice? What are you, a masochist? Where Jason's in charge, even punctuation errors are a crime. The co-worker frowned. That's weird. He doesn't seem that strict at all. They were still arguing when Kristen happened to walk by. She smacked the guy on the back. What nonsense are you spouting? You think Mr. Jason came here just to keep being a tyrant? The guy winced. Then why else? Kristen shot me a glance that carried a hidden meaning. Of course not. Mr. Jason came here with a very special reason. Before anyone could dig further, it was time for the progress meeting. Kristen gathered everyone toward the conference room. I, however, was doubled over at my desk with a sudden stomach ache, barely able to move or speak. So I asked Carlos to present my section for me. During the meeting, when Carlos reached my part of the report, Jason, who had been staring down the whole time, lifted his head. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, that's not your team's task, is it? Carlos froze. Yes, it's actually Belle's, but she's feeling unwell today. Jason's brows knitted tightly as he looked over toward me, huddled in the corner. Maybe my pale face scared him, because his expression shifted instantly. Why are we even holding this meeting? In full view of everyone, he stood and strode straight toward me. I was still in shock when he reached me, helping me up with a steady hand and clear concern in his eyes. I'm taking you to rest. I wanted to refuse, but under everyone's burning gazes, it would have looked worse to resist. So, I let him half guide, half carry me to his office. Behind us came a chorus of whispers. Whoa, what's going on? No idea. But I worked at HQ 2 years and never saw Mr. Jason so flustered. Man, he's such a caring boss. And y'all said he was scary? No, seriously. He was never like this before. Jason's office had a leather sofa actually pretty comfortable to lie on. But my mind was spinning with embarrassment. He was half kneeling beside me, holding a cup of freshly poured hot water. Still hurting? I'll take you to the hospital. The dull ache in my lower abdomen kept pulsing stronger. I shook my head weakly. He frowned. Don't be stubborn. Your health comes first. I wasn't being stubborn. I just didn't need a hospital. After his relentless concern, I finally muttered softly, It's probably my period. Jason blinked. You're what? I bit my lip. You know, that. Maybe it was my mortified expression, but he suddenly got it. A flush crept up his fair face, and he looked a little lost. I buried my face in a pillow. All I could think was, great, I've probably ruined his couch. He scratched his head, then seemed to realize something. Stay here and rest. I'll go buy what you need. He was already turning to leave when I reached out and grabbed his wrist. Wait, what are you buying? He stiffened, caught off guard, ears turning red. What you need? I shot up straight. How are you going to buy that? Jason buying me pads. Kill me now. He gently pried my hand off and patted my shoulder reassuringly. I'll just buy them. It's not like the store won't sell to me. Wait here, okay? In the end, I couldn't stop him. The 10 minutes I spent curled on his office sofa felt like the longest of my life. When the door finally opened again, it wasn't Jason, but Kristen. She was holding a big shopping bag and smiling knowingly. Mr. Jason thought you might feel shy, so he asked me to bring these in. I nodded dumbly, mumbling thanks, but my eyes instinctively drifted to the doorway, searching for his tall frame. Was Jason always this thoughtful? Kristen pulled out a towel and draped it over my shoulders. Come on, I'll walk you to the restroom. Her touch was gentle but steady, giving off a calm confidence. Smiling, she showed me what was in the bag. Look at this guy. He practically emptied the store. Day pads, night pads, brown sugar drinks, a thermos, even sleep shorts. He really had cleaned the shelves. I felt awkward. Mr. Jason probably doesn't have much experience with this kind of thing. Kristen laughed softly, studying me. The question I'd been holding back slipped out. You and Jason, were you ever a couple? Kristen blinked, then looked utterly shocked. What? Who told you that nonsense? Mr. Jason's my junior. We've always been perfectly proper. I dropped my gaze. So maybe Jason had just always quietly liked her. I forced a smile. Maybe you just never noticed his feelings, then. Kristen waved her hands frantically. Impossible! You've got it all wrong! If Jason liked me, would he have given up his promotion and transferred here? I froze. I hadn't thought of it that way. And now that she said it, it kind of made sense. After we left the restroom, Kristen stayed with me in the office until the meeting ended. I felt guilty. Miss Kristen, did I make you miss work? She laughed boldly. How could you? Those meetings are just formalities anyway. Doesn't matter if I'm there or not. But if I don't take care of you, mister, Jason will have my head. I blinked. What's that supposed to mean? She straightened my hair with a grin. You seriously don't see it? Mr. Jason's different with you. I was too flustered to respond. Huh? Before I could even process it, the meeting ended and Jason burst through the door, anxious. How are you feeling? Any better? Kristen stood up and said as she passed him. See for yourself. Jason nodded, waiting until she left before hurrying over and crouching beside me. I turned my head away instinctively, Kristen's words still echoing in my mind. Was Jason really different with me? He didn't seem to notice my unease. Still in pain? He asked. I shook my head. After drinking the brown sugar water, I did feel a lot better. He finally relaxed, tidying up as he spoke. I'll drive you home later. I reflexively waved it off. No, it's fine. Carlos and I live in the same direction. I can ride with him. Jason's hands paused mid-motion. I sensed I'd said the wrong thing, but I couldn't help the avoidance in my tone. Silence fell over the room. After a while, I heard him mutter softly. You like Carlos that much? Everything's Carlos this, Carlos that. I was stunned, rushing to explain. No, it's just... He cut me off, voice tinged with quiet hurt. I can just happen to too, you know. Can't you ever just happen to need me? My brain short-circuited. After a long pause, I stammered. What are you saying? Jason turned toward me, his expression almost aggrieved. Why can't you see it? You think I volunteered to transfer here for charity? I stared at him in disbelief. He sighed, looking almost wounded. They were laying off staff, and when I saw your name here, I came running. You disappeared after graduation like you'd fallen off the face of the earth. Whether I visited teachers or went to reunions, I could never find you. What was I supposed to think? You kissed me, and then just ran off? No responsibility? The memory hit me like a storm. Wait, what? Wasn't it you who got ambushed by me, and I was too ashamed to face you after? Jason frowned, his tone suddenly serious. Isabel. Hearing him call my full name for the first time in years made my heart jolt. Huh? He gritted his teeth a little. Do you seriously not remember what happened that night? I thought about it honestly. Not really, and fidgeted awkwardly. What happened? As Jason told it, the whole picture finally started to come back together. His handsome face flushed slightly. I was still in the bathroom when you barged in. You confessed to me, ripped at my shirt, and kissed me. I stared in disbelief. I'd known I'd done something stupid, but not that stupid. Jason continued shyly. I mean, I did kiss you back, but only because you insisted. If you don't kiss me, it means you don't love me. That's what you said. But then Julia gave you some hangover soup and said a few words. And you just ran off, played with me, and never even texted back. I was dumbfounded. Why did I sound like the villain in his version? I protested. But everyone said you came out looking furious, face all red, and refused to speak. Jason pressed his lips tight, cheeks burning. We came out of the men's bathroom, and all that happened inside. How was I supposed to act natural? I was completely stunned. This version didn't match my memory at all. After 2 full minutes sorting through it, I hesitantly asked, So what you're saying is, my confession actually worked? Jason nodded hard. I still couldn't believe it. But Julia told me you liked someone else, that you were waiting for her. She said she might even be a foreigner. He lowered his eyes, looking wronged. What foreigner? That was you. You're the one I've been waiting for. Maybe I looked so miserable they assumed it was some long-distance thing. The revelation left me dizzy. My brain was still foggy when Jason stepped closer. So now, shouldn't you give me an answer? I nodded. Yeah, I should. His eyes lit up, joy just starting to show when I stepped back. But let me process this first. Then I bolted. Jason stood frozen for 2 seconds, completely stunned. Isabel! How can you toy with me twice? Jason's confession felt like a dream. I'd spent years hiding from him, only to find it was all one big misunderstanding. I was angry, embarrassed, and oddly relieved. We'd both liked each other, yet missed all these years because of my impulsiveness. It still felt unreal, your teenage crush suddenly admitting he'd liked you all along. Anyone would faint, but Jason seemed to take it all in stride. Now at work, he sent different people every day to deliver messages for him. A week passed, and today was Anna's turn. She strutted over confidently. "Belle, Mr. Jason asked me to pass on a message. Just 4 words. Are you done processing?" I was used to it by now, calm as ever. She, however, was giddy. "So, are you done processing? Mr. Jason said if I get you to say yes, he'll give me a raise this month." Anna clutched my arm. "Belle, I need a new bag. Help your sister out." Seriously, why couldn't he just give me the raise? Maybe I was suddenly done processing. I sighed. "Anna, you actually believe the capitalist's empty promises?" She blinked and replied in her thick accent, "Well, what if he's serious? How can I not believe it?" Hopeless. I gently pried her off. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Jason standing not far away, pretending to sip coffee while very obviously spying on us. When he noticed I'd seen him, he turned his back quickly, feigning nonchalance. I couldn't help but smile and mimicked his casual act as I headed to the break room. Halfway there, someone yanked me into the supply closet. Before I could scream, a hand clamped over my mouth. My heart pounded until I realized I knew that face. Jason rested his forehead on my shoulder, his breath hot against my neck. His voice came low and rough. "Belle, I can't wait anymore." I hadn't expected him to be so impatient. I'd meant to give us both some space to adjust, but with his daily teasing, we soon slipped into a secret relationship. From that day on, Jason changed completely at work. He practically had "in love" written on his forehead. Like when a coworker came for a signature, if it was a woman, he'd pause and ask, "Got any suggestions for gifts for a girl?" Or when the manager commented, "Mr. Jason, you're in a great mood today," he'd straighten his collar and say earnestly, "Yeah? Any ideas for places to take a girl out?" Soon, rumors spread through the company like wildfire. People were convinced Mr. Jason was dating. I was mortified and decided we needed to talk. "Jason, you're making things really hard for me." He looked puzzled. "Why?" "Everyone says you're in a relationship." His face darkened, and he grabbed my wrist. "Aren't we? Or are you planning to toy with me a 3rd time?" I couldn't help laughing at his panic. "No, but we agreed to keep it quiet, remember?" He finally relaxed, releasing my wrist and pulling me straight into his arms. "Good. I've been trying really hard to keep it a secret." Then, softly, "But I'm so happy it's the kind of happy I can't hide, even if I try." I squirmed a little in his embrace, ready to scold him again. Instead, he tightened his hold around my waist, voice low and husky. "Don't move. What's wrong?" His answer came in the form of heavy breathing. By the time I peeked up, dizzy and flushed, I could only think, so this is what they mean by lust clouding reason. Despite my stern warnings, Jason promised he'd tone it down, but he still got caught soon enough. Why? Because while projecting his screen in a meeting, a huge photo of me popped up. The room went dead silent. 2 seconds later, Jason glanced at me and coughed theatrically. "Huh? Whose photo is that?" "Oh, please." I glared at him. "That's your idea of subtle?" He blinked at me pitifully. "I forgot, okay?" Soon after, co-workers came swarming for gossip. "Belle, you're dating Mr. Jason, right? It's so obvious. The way he pretended not to know you earlier nearly killed me." With such blunt questions, I couldn't dodge anymore. I could only say mildly, "Let's keep personal matters out of work." Still, everyone clearly got the hint. Their looks at us were filled with knowing amusement. What I didn't expect was that, after the news got out, it didn't really hurt me, it just tortured everyone else. Jason suddenly raised the bar for work quality. Stricter than ever, Anna's draft proposal got sent back over a single misaligned word. The office was in chaos. Why did Mr. Jason turn into a tyrant after falling in love? Give us back the old Jason. Yeah, isn't love supposed to be sweet? Why does the world look darker now? I'm on my third draft. I'm gonna cry. Amid the complaints, Jason passed by silently. I couldn't resist asking, seriously, why are you being so harsh lately? He glanced at them, looking quite smug. I only went easy before because I didn't want you overworked. Now that everyone knows you're the exception, I can openly be strict with the rest. He didn't even lower his voice, half the office heard, and a wave of groans followed. Unfair. We're all just employees. Why's Belle the only exception? Jason turned calmly. She's my wife. Are you? One senior co-worker blushed. Mr. Jason, if you don't mind, I could be... To keep the peace. I tried convincing Jason to treat everyone equally, me included. After some hesitation, he agreed, but still couldn't help going easy on me sometimes. I warned him that favoritism might cause resentment. He pouted. But you're my sweetheart. How can you be equal to them? I blushed hard. Turns out, I'd worried for nothing. Despite their grumbling, my co-workers secretly shipped us like crazy. I once overheard two in the restroom. Did you see it? During the meeting, Mr. Jason tried to hold Belle's hand under the table and she smacked him away so funny. Of course I saw. I even caught them getting out of the same car this morning. Belle couldn't carry her coffee, so Mr. Jason literally fed it to her dead from cuteness. You didn't take a picture? I waited till they left before walking out like nothing happened. That night I told Jason about it, and he chuckled. See, I told you not to worry so much. I was still murmuring over the memory when he leaned in close. Then don't overthink now. Look at me. The moonlight spilled into the room, shadows swaying gently. My head spun as a sliver of light fell across my palm. He was right there before me. How lucky I was to finally have the moonlight I'd once only dreamed of.